You're welcome to say something negative about Antifa right now.
I think that I've covered the subject quite well. You are not listening.
Okay, she declined to speak, so that is the position of the Democratic Party.
All right, this just happened. Ted Cruz asked Senator Maisie Hirono to say one negative thing about Antifa. Just one. Not a takedown, not a deep dive, not a dissentation. Just say something negative. And she literally walks out. I'm not kidding. This is exactly what just happened when politics becomes performance. And people can't even bring themselves to condemn domestic extremism unless it's politically convenient. Let's roll this clip. You've got to see this for yourself.
On the proposition as a value proposition, do Black Lives Matter? Absolutely yes. And our nation was founded on the proposition that all men are created equal, regardless of race or skin color. But the organization that has seized that name is very different, and if they succeeded with their stated number one objective of defunding and abolishing every police department, many, many more Black lives would be lost because more African Americans would be murdered without the police officers that bravely risk their lives to defend those communities. Senator Hirono.
Mr. Chairman, I have to say, sometimes I don't think you listen. So how many times have I had to say that we all should be denouncing violent extremists of every stripe?
Does that include
by
Antifa?
the way...
Okay, let's break this down. Ted Cruz points out that yes, Black Lives Matter as a value, something everyone agrees on. But when it comes to the organization pushing to abolish police departments, he makes a clear and uncomfortable point. You do that, and more Black lives are put in danger, not fewer. It's not a gotcha, it's a fact. But instead of engaging with that argument, Hirono deflects, turns it into a rant about Republicans exploiting Black deaths, and then says we should not even take defunding the police literally. Come on. If people are chanting it in the streets and spraying paint on buildings, pushing policies based on it, you don't get to pretend it's just a metaphor.
I have the time. By the way, you know, the Republicans are constantly using, I have to say, you brought it up yourself, the deaths of these Black police officers, Patrick Underwood and David Dorn, for making political points. And the fact that it was right-wing extremists who killed Officer Underwood, that seems to be lost in this argument. And now there are all these attacks about Black Lives Matter and what they're saying. I mean, how many of us even think that defunding police departments should be taken literally? I mean, I certainly don't. So, you know, we have this pesky thing called freedom of speech. And I'd say that the people who support Black Lives Matter, and if they're calling for various boycotts and all that, that's called freedom of speech. And that's what this hearing title is, protecting speech. So all I can say is, look, we should all join hands and denouncing and whatever words you want to use about violent extremism of all stripes. And I think we can all agree on that. So it's to constant.
So now she goes full circle, talks about freedom of speech, claims everyone should denounce all violence, then accuses Republicans of not listening, says she's had enough, and walks out like she just won the mic drop moment. But here is the kicker. Still, she never says a single negative word about Antifa. Not one. And Ted Cruz calmly just points it out. He does not yell. He does not name call. He just highlights the fact that 7 Democrat senators spoke. Not one of them could condemn Antifa or apologize for people calling cops Nazis, stormtroopers, or Gestapo. If that does not tell you everything about where the priorities lie, I don't know what will.
The accuse Democrats of not caring about that is really, I can only say that you aren't listening. So I hope this is the end of this hearing, Mr. Chairman, and that we don't have to listen to any more of your rhetorical speeches. Thank you very much. I'm leaving.
Well, I appreciate the, as always, kind and uplifting words of Senator Hirono.
Thank you.
And I would also note that throughout her remarks, she still did not say a negative word about Antifa, nor has any Democrat here. They instead engage in a political game where they depend. You're welcome to say something negative about Antifa right now.
I think that I've covered the subject quite well. You are not listening.
Okay, she declined to speak, so that is the position of the Democratic Party. I would note also that of the 7 Democratic senators who spoke, not a one of them apologized for or denounced multiple Democrats calling law enforcement officers Nazis, stormtroopers, and Gestapo, to be fair. I have not heard the word Nazi, but stormtrooper was Nancy Pelosi and Gestapo was another Democratic leader. That is less than helpful. I thank each of the witnesses for your testimony. I thank you for defending free speech. And I thank you for speaking out against violence and against terrorism. The record in this hearing will be held open for 1 week. Senators may follow up with the witnesses of either this panel or the previous panel with written questions. If you receive written questions, you are asked to submit the answers to those questions by the close of business 1 week from today. And with that, this hearing is adjourned.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you this. Why is it so hard for some people to call out extremism when it's coming from the left? Ted Cruz did not ask for a lecture. He asked for honesty. But apparently, even mild criticism of Antifa is too much for certain senators, so much that they just walk out of the room. And somehow, we are supposed to believe they are the ones defending free speech. Yeah. Okay. If you saw the double standard loud and clear, hit that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Why do you think so many Democrats refuse to say even one bad thing about Antifa? Because honestly, it's starting to look like silence is a strategy.